Mexico, known as the land of enchantment, but also the home of the black and yellow, the excitement from the fans and the players.
It's the Boston native Harry Schwartz.
Gives a boost to United, making the pitch a challenge for other teams. United has their eyes on one thing: a championship to bring home to New Mexico. This is United. Return to the pitch.
And the lab is rocking.
So much excitement for New Mexico United this season after making another playoff run last year. Thank you for joining us for our New Mexico United special. I'm Ron Burke. So much has happened with this team since the end of last season. We'll get to all of that in just a moment. But first, there were plenty of changes to the team's roster. Since the end of last season, head coach Eric Quill, he wasted no time adding a couple players from different teams and leagues, including MLS. KOAT 7 Sports was able to speak with each of those new additions to the roster at the club's media day in early February. All seem to have one thing on their mind: winning a championship.
With only a handful of New Mexico United veterans returning for 2024,
what we brought back is very solid.
head coach Eric Quill knew it was time to revamp the black and yellow roster.
We want to bring a championship to New Mexico, and that was the goal of putting this roster together. It's not a project. This is a win-now roster. Players know that. The players that were recruited in were told that.
Players like Mukwele Akele, coming off a career-best season in USL League One.
They signed me because of how I played, so they told me right away, just come and do the same thing here and work hard for the team.
Marco Micheletto, the reigning captain of Columbus Crew 2.
You really understand that you're part of a bigger thing than just yourself, so all I want to focus is coming in and doing everything I can to the best of my ability.
Quill also recruiting players he's had a hand in developing.
He was an assistant coach when I was going through the youth national team program, so we're very familiar with each other.
Chris Gloucester, having spent 2023 with MLS side Atlanta United.
I've heard a lot about the city and how much the fans are really into the club, and that just motivates me to, want to give a piece of myself to the club as well.
There's also big names like Abu Danladi, the first overall pick in the 2017 MLS Super Draft.
I'm a forward, so the most important thing for me to do is to score goals, even not to score, but create opportunities for my teammates as well to be able to win games.
The roster rounded out with up-and-coming stars like Avion Flanagan, a 24-year-old who's logged more than 5,000 minutes as a pro.
The coach kind of grabbing the bull by the horns and letting us all know within the first day, first hour, first week, the standards that we want to hold here.
A New Mexico United roster that will be new to lifelong fans, but with the same goals on the pitch.
This roster is full of starters. There's no second string, third string guys here. We've got big ambitions for what we want out of the year, and everybody's going to be needed, and that's why we wanted to bolster this roster with top tier talent.
Now, along with the new additions, the team suffered a big loss just weeks before the opening match of the season. Fan favorite Chris Wehan re-injured his knee, ending his time with the club. It was the same knee that caused him to sit out most of last season. Team owner Peter Trevisani shared his thoughts on the departure of the man they call Bees.
Re-injuring his knee, it was devastating news. Chris isn't just our leading goal scorer or leading assist creator. Chris is a leader. Chris is the face, along with Devin Sandoval and Josh Suggs.
Wehan leaves the club with 37 goals and 18 assists. Both are the most in United history. Now, even with Wehan's departure, there are still recognizable faces on the roster, and Julian Paras is here to tell us who's sticking around.
Yeah, that's right, Ron. So one of those familiar faces coming back is Sergio Rivas. In 28 starts, Sergio Rivas had a career-high 7 goals for United, the second most for the club last year. He also had a club-best 5 assists during last year's campaign. The Albuquerque native talked about the changes made during the offseason.
We have a lot more ball-playing team, with good feet. We're going to be playing a lot, and that's definitely the biggest thing that we can stand out. We brought a lot of good athletic people to the team, and more than that, just people who want to win. They're hungry. They want to, jump a league. They want to go to the league up. So I think with bringing that by and, that driving you, it's going to really help the team.
Now, Rivas attended Cibola High School and was named the Gatorade New Mexico boys soccer player back in 2014. He also got all-conference honors at Seattle University. Now, one of the most popular stars for the Black and Yellow is also coming back. Harry Schwartz is entering his 4th season with the team after signing with New Mexico back in 2020. Last year, he had 6 goals and 2 assists. He did a lot better when it came to goal accuracy, from 40% in 2022 to 61% last season. And finally, of the club's most beloved players, Daniel Bruce. He is entering his 6th season with United. Bruce has been with the club since the inaugural season and is the club's all-time leader in game appearances. He didn't start most of the games last season because of injury, but did come off the bench for a few games. The English native did score 3 goals for United and had an assist last year. Now, speaking of standout players, New Mexico United is on the cusp of welcoming back its youngest starter in its history, Cristian Nava. I spoke with him about what this season means to him as he makes his return.
Definitely excited. It's been a long year.
After tearing his ACL last year, Cristian Nava says he's ready to get back on the field for 2024. Nava suffering his injury in 2023 before the season started, but with the help of his team, he's in high spirits.
I think with the help of the guys here, you know, it gives me motivation almost every day to come in and, you know, try to be part of this team again.
This will be head coach Eric Quill's first time having the chance to coach Nava. Quill saying this team will benefit from the young forward coming back.
Poor kid's been out for a long time and at a young age, and so that setback's not easy. But he's electric. He's a kid that has a lot of belief in himself. I've been there before, and it's now fun. But so I'm just glad to see him back and enjoying the camaraderie of the guys, and I can't wait to see his first debut with us.
As he continues to wait until he's fully recovered, Nava says being in this situation reminds him of the joy he has being New Mexico United.
It made me appreciate everything more. Like, I don't know, all of a sudden you don't realize what you have until you lose it.
He has one goal in mind as the 2024 season edges closer.
I look forward to it every day as well, and again, I'm really excited.
Now, Nava is still recovering from that ACL tear and hasn't made a full return to training just yet. He told media in early February that he's still taking it day to day. Ron?
Well, Julian United is gearing up for their 6th season in USL Championship. All of this started with the announcement that a team would be added in the Land of Enchantment back in June of 2018. It was only a couple months after the team would play its first ever match, and what better place to do it than in front of the home crowd. More than 12,000 fans packed Rio Grande Credit Union Field at Isotopes Park March 9th of 2019. Then head coach Troy Lesesne led the young team against Fresno FC. Former El Dorado High School star Devin Sandoval would score the club's first goal as fans went crazy. Fresno would also score 1 goal, and that match would end in a 1-1 draw. It didn't take long for the black and yellow to make their presence known across the league. Months after their first match, they would face Sacramento Republic in their first playoff game in October 2019. United would score first, but Sacramento would get its footing and score 2 goals to send United home that night by a final score of 2-1. Okay, let's fast forward from 2019 to 2023 now. The team had seen some success during that time, but the franchise had a challenging start to last season. They started 4 of their first 5 games on the road, United winning the season opener in Miami 1-0. Then it got rough as they lost 3 of those road matches. Going into the summer, the team struggled, losing 4 times during May and June. During the skid, Zach Prince, who was United's head coach for the first half of the season, announced he was stepping down after losing against El Paso on June 10th. He'd been a part of the organization since 2019. Masaki Hime took over coaching duties while the team looked for a new leader. It wouldn't take long as the club named Eric Quill to the position on June 13th. Now, after Quill was hired, the team would make a run in the second half of the season, getting key wins against Tulsa, Phoenix, and Memphis. They also had several draws, but that didn't keep them from making the playoffs. United faced Sacramento Republic, and the season ended in a 1-0 loss. Eric Quill will be starting a season with United for the first time. We spoke with him on how he expects the team to build from last year's brief playoff run. When he took over as head coach last June, Eric Quill inherited someone else's players and still led United to the first round of the playoffs. But in the offseason, getting his first chance to dig his hands into the roster, he turned it over considerably, with the goal being to go deeper in the postseason.
Having Eric here from the beginning of the season and him bringing some of his players in and the guys that he likes, a lot of excitement, and I think the team has bonded really well on and off the field.
To attack his ultimate goal of bringing a championship to New Mexico, Quill, along with United's leadership, scoured the soccer landscape for players with skill sets that would move the team forward.
We felt maybe it was time to get some new blood in here, and everybody wants to get faster and more technical and more athletic. So we tried to bring in those profiles that we feel are represent the identity of New Mexico.
Those profiles included young players with promise, such as January signee Chris Gloucester, who at just 23 years old has represented the U.S. at various age levels and totaled 60 international matches.
Eric really promotes, the freedom that sometimes kids need to show themselves and to really showcase themselves in order to become better.
The new guys coming in, it's their job to kind of grasp it fast, but the vets in this locker room are such great guys, and they've just connected to the new guys right away.
And Quill acknowledges the key to having success depends on how fast his team can gel and play the brand of soccer he wants them to play.
You're going to see every piece that's been added has got a wow factor to them. How fast they're flowing together has been really impressive. It's probably been the most electric group I've coached in professional soccer.
It's a lofty statement from the coach. The team has seen a fair amount of turnover on the sideline. Troy Lesesne was the first to lead the Black and Yellow back in 2019. He led the club to 34 wins, 29 losses, and 26 draws, along with 2 playoff appearances. He left the team after the 2021 season. Lesesne is now the head coach of MLS club DC United. Lesesne was followed by Zach Prince, who's also currently part of the DC United coaching staff. Before that, he was New Mexico United's head coach for the 2022 season and part of last year. During his time, he led United to 11 wins, 6 losses, and 9 draws. United hoping Eric Quill will give some needed stability and a deep postseason run this year. So let's take a look at the road United is about to travel. The season opens up at home March 9th against Pittsburgh Riverhounds. After that, they're on the road for 3 straight matches against Rhode Island, Charleston, and Phoenix Rising. Then United will have their first rivalry game against El Paso in the Duke City April 6th and back on the road against Monterey Bay June 2nd. Now, coming up later, we'll look at the second half of United's schedule and Coach Quill's expectations.
It's a surreal moment. You kind of just embrace the fact that this means a lot to a lot of people.
That home field advantage is something I'd say we have over a lot of opponents.
Win, lose, or draw, New Mexico United know they will always have the support of the home crowd. If you've been to a United game, more than likely you've seen them. Who are we talking about?
Yeah, that's right. So we're talking about the Curse. Sasha Leninger explains who they are and their mission on and off the pitch.
They're fierce and proud of who they represent. Meet the Curse.
The Curse is one of the largest supporters group for New Mexico United. We're the loud, rowdy fans that set off the smoke bombs, bang the drums, have the trumpets, horns.
Carlos Tenorio is the president. He's very well known as Sombrero Man. The name explains itself.
This year we have about 200 members. That's exciting, and going up from our membership numbers from last year.
The Curse starts with a tailgate on game day. They have their pregame march to the match, and then a special moment comes early on in the game.
We have our magic minute from 19 minutes and 12 seconds when the state was founded to 20 minutes 18 seconds when the club was founded. And so we just go crazy for that entire minute.
The Curse takes up these sections during all home matches, sections 116 and 118, and boy, do they get a lot of attention. But it's what they do off the pitch that's making a very big difference and is just as important as what they do here while creating some noise.
When we're not playing soccer, we're out in the community trying to make New Mexico a better place as well.
A place to be proud of and one that's safe for everyone to call home.
We do a lot of community engagement. This last year we did the cleanup of the bosque, so we go out into the bosque and pick up trash and make sure that's going on. We do a lot of stuff with Roadrunner Food Bank.
So how did one of the best fan bases in the USL get its name? Well, it originated from a former lawmaker.
And they decided on the name The Curse based off of the curse of Lew Wallace, former governor of New Mexico, who said by all calculations everything we've tried in New Mexico has failed, pretty much saying this land's cursed.
The group turning a negative into something positive, letting teams know whatever works at their home park will not work as soon as they come to the lab.
It's formed because of soccer, but soccer is just the outlet that we're using to better, transform the community. So we try to make New Mexico as best as we can off and on the pitch.
For KOAT7 Sports, I'm Sasha Leninger.
You go to a United game and that spirit from the crowd just emanates. It's a really strong, supportive fan base that I know the players in the franchise appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely, Ron. I mean, what was it? It was about a year ago. I got the chance to actually talk to these fans just face to face. Everyone is decked out in scarves, their jerseys, they got face paint on, they got the head caps, they got the stickers on their car. I could go on forever.
Yeah.
They've got the laundry list of stuff just because they love this team so much. And I know it means a lot to the New Mexico people, residents, fans of that type of nature. So it's great to see.
They're loud and proud, for sure. Next on our United Special, a new home for the club still in the works.
There's a process for building anything in New Mexico and anything in Albuquerque.
A look at where plans stand for a new stadium and a familiar face taking on a new role to mentor young United players. The expectations of Academy head coach David Estrada.